So, brothers and sisters, it's your brother G World 7_D. I'm going back to this book, Chiefdoms, Collapse, and Coalescence in Early American South. And as you see in here, I showed you this book before. This is the Yamasee, and they're fighting against the English. 1715 to 1717, I want to be correct, started on a Friday. All right, so I'm going to go to page 208. Right? I want to be particular about certain things here. If you notice things a little bit clear, this is a different phone. Okay, I'm going to read this part. Bear with me. The Upper Yamasees had 6 towns. As noted, Pokalago was the principal town. The 5 other villages in the orbit were Pokasabo, Tamatli, Huspa, Sadkitshi, and Tulafana. The latter 3 places were probably remnants of the powerful Gael Guli or Gael chiefdom that had once controlled much of Georgia coast, whereas the origins of the Pokasabo and the Tamatli are yet unclear. Before 1685, most of the Yamasee, upper and lower, were affiliated with the Spanish La Florida. The Guli, or the Gael, or the Gael, was drawn into the St. Augustine mission system during the late 16th century, though it was always most unruly of the mission provinces. Those late Mississippi chiefdoms of the Georgia Piedmont, whose descendants will constitute the Lower Yamasee, were broken during the 1660s, shattered by the Westu, slaving as were Carolina's Piedmont chiefdoms. Later, most of the survivors moved south to Guale province, following a series of French attacks in La Florida in 1683. Large numbers of Yamasee began moving to the area around Port Royal Sound in modern-day Beaufort County, South Carolina. They have a nice high school football team, by the way, where they quickly forged a tight bond with Scottish colonists at Stewarttown. Okay? If you look at my older videos, I want you to pick up on that Stewarttown. Man, pick up on this, man. My older videos. I'm going to go back. I'm going to read that part again. Lower Yamasees were broken during the 1660s, shattered by Westu, slaving as were Carolina's Piedmont chiefdoms. Later, most of the survivors moved south to Guale province, that's Gullah, following a series of French attacks in La Florida in 1683. Large numbers of Yamasee began moving to the area around Port Royal Sound in modern-day Beaufort County, South Carolina, where they quickly forged a tight bond with Scottish colonists at Stewarttown. Though Stewarttown was destroyed by a Spanish assault in 1686, and the Yamasee forced to move their towns yet again, their leadership with Carolina held firm. But like most contemporary Indian-Anglo alliances, the bond between the Yamasees and Carolina soon came to depend on the market for slaves and hides. Thus, by the time the Narneen Company undertook its fateful trip to Pocataligo in 1715, the Yamasee had likely been organized into upper and lower divisions just inland from Port Royal Sound for more than 20 years. I suggest that each of these Yamasee divisions, like the northern and southern branches of the Tuscarora, may be conceived as of a regional or multi-community chieftaincy, each with its own head town. And I'm going to stop right there. Now, I emphasize Stewart. that was one of the ruling clans, the Scottish family, King James of the Stuart family, who ruled England and Scotland. King James was a Negro. I wanted you to catch that. All right, I want you to really catch that who King James was. There's always the interconnections of the black Europeans who were coming here, as well as the Aboriginal blacks who were already in this land. Who, personally, I believe the black Europeans originally came from here and went to Europe. But that's another story. But here over the picture you see over here, this is a black and white sketching of the Yamasee War from 1715, 1717. And this is an early view of the Yamasee War, of the gruesome attack of the Indians on the English in Carolina. Gruesome attack on the English in Carolina, West Indies, on 19 April 1715, on the same days after which actions of the barbarians tortured many men. Now, as you see, these are the Indians. Now, I showed you this before. These guys wearing like fezzes and turbans on their head with a feather. These are unquestionably niggas, okay? So-called niggers. Okay, I'm going to put it back in color. Now, I read you when I said the Stuart. Remember, Stuart was the rulership of the Negro rulership in England, in Scotland, England and Scotland, of King James, or King Ames, all right? So that was a knowledge of that particular rulership, those names. So you had those Negroes coming over here, meeting with the Negroes who are already over here. Now, people don't like the word Negro. I'm just throwing that as another term for black, whatever, man. But just ignore that. But I'm emphasizing to you that you have various different black groups here. I always say in my other videos, man, any Negro that's continued to tell you that majority of people brought over in slave ships is very uninformed, very ignorant, or sellout. Period. There's no excuse because there's too much information out there. Most black Americans are not descendant of African slaves. I said this in so many of my videos. Most black Americans are descendant of the Aboriginal black American Indians in the Southeast region, as well, mixed with a lot of the black Aboriginal Negroes coming from Europe. That's who you are. There's very few Africans that brought here, and when they came with the Negroes that were already here, they were absorbed. So you have to catch, once you know the history of so much other stuff around the world, all right, once you study history of the Stuart family, the Tudor family, all that stuff, and you know who these people were, a bunch of damn Negroes, and you see these names here in America that was named after them. Last time they come over here and they colonized certain regions and places, that was named after them. This is why I emphasize, I go over those names over and over again. Some of these names sound too damn similar. From the southeast over to the northwest into the west, these names sound too damn similar. That's why I showed you image of the Dogon who built those cliff level structures in rock. The exact same things are in Arizona, but are much older and have been abandoned. I show you that stuff because I want to emphasize this information to you. Pardon me with the pronunciation sometimes, man. I try to read this stuff real fast and get it over with. But this is very vital. You got to catch certain names. Study the Stuart family line in Britain, because that's what King Ames, or Imes, a.k.a. James, was head of. He was the Stuart family, of the Stuart clan. King James of England and King James of Scotland. All right, brothers and sisters. So I want you to pick up on that. Do not listen to these Negroes who tell you that you're a descendant of African slaves. Many of these Negroes got these degrees for these damn schools. I have my degrees. But you had these degrees for these damn schools, and they ignorant as hell, man. They still telling you that you come from some damn slave dungeon in West Africa, which is a lie. Because most of our people are already here. Like I said, all you gotta do is follow the trail, follow the names. Jamestown, named after King James. I mean, it's obvious, man. And the Negro subjects who settled there. This stuff is obvious, man. It's literally in your face, man. And these damn names. These damn names with the chi up in there, or the key, whatever. These damn names are really in your face, man. I've said that in my older videos, but I just want to make this quick video, and I'm gonna make some more because this is a better phone I'm gonna do it from. But I have my computer. I don't do it on my computer, man. I have that laptop. I just don't do it on laptop. But this is the information I want to spread to you and let you know. Do not buy into Pan-Africanism. Realize that you are already here. This is your land. This is your home. You have to study this information, man. You cannot go on AI and just type up some expect AI to give you information. AI was to tell you it's a big controversy whether Negroes were here. That's nonsense. Or even chat GPT, whatever, man. You're going to have to do the real research. That's how you're going to get this information. You actually going to have to get encyclopedias, old, maybe first-hand articles, first sources, various different books you can pull, magazine, journals, whatever, how much you can do, how much you can get. But you're going to have to do it that way because most of the stuff that you get just typing up AI or going through Google, it's not good information, man. They basically sanitize that information. It's been watered down, all right? So this is the first video I've done in a while. I'm gonna get back to my smoothness in doing it. But I just want to emphasize that's why I go over certain words, and sometimes I may make a mistake in its pronunciation, but I don't really give a, I'm not gonna make a big deal over that. But I just want you to understand and pick up certain things. Pick up certain things. You got to pick it up. You got to pick it up. There's various different types of black people that were here in America. So you look at a lot of the black people here in America, you have some Negroes look like some doggone people out of the Pacific Islands. You have some Negroes who look like some people out of Australia. You have some Negroes here look like people who may be out of South Africa. Our features always were very diverse here in America. So let's get this straight. All right. And then you had woolly haired Negroes and wavy straight haired Negroes out west, as well as you had them in the east. So you have to really understand your history. I showed you pictures of Hernando de Soto, and it showed him as a Negro, man. It's light skin or maybe a mixed Negro. All right, so like they give you a lot of these Spanish or so-called explorers who you try to portray as white when they're actually some damn Negroes, man. So this is information that I want to give you. This is a good book, by the way. If you can get it, you can get it online. It maybe costs around, I want to say around between $35, $40. You should get it because this is your history. You see the cover right there. This is the Yamasee War. They talk about Gullah War. What is the so-called Gullah War / Yamasee War, Seminole War? It's basically the same damn thing, man. It's been just relabeled by white writers. It's the same damn thing. I would technically tell people that technically there's no such thing as a quote Gullah Geechee and then combined together because those are two different words, man. That stuff put together was done by white folks. All right. And what white folks have done, they have basically Africanized everything and made you a foreigner. Instead of, they took indigenous stories, indigenous history over in that southeast region, and they made into some African stuff. And some of you Negroes hollering at African stuff. You got that little lady calls herself Queen Quet, whatever her name is. She's a fraud, man. I'm saying that now because the fact is you're not African. You're not African. But yet, anytime you see a so-called black face, they want to make you African. They want to make you a foreigner and then designate that particular physical feature into one region, one location. And it not only one region, one location, south of the Sahara. That's why with the Olmec heads, some people say, okay, they're wearing the helmets like they see some people in them East African with the Nubians and the Egyptians. But then the way they look, they have to be West Africans when they were Aboriginal Negroes that were already over here. So that so-called melanated people, it's a global thing. It's not one region. So when you just keep, every time you see a black face, say Africoid and all that stuff, that comes from white racist anthropologists and archaeologists and historians, man, who want to typecast a so-called black look or so-called physical features of individuals located in one region in so-called sub-Saharan Africa. That's racist as hell. All right, bro, this is G World 7_D. Peace.